What? All right. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Happy 8 p.m. Let's see. So, whoa. Today's topic is going to be about, I guess, how to stay productive. Honestly, today is going to be a little bit of a freestyle. I don't know how to say it's pretty busy day. Please forgive me. This is my bad for hopping on and not scheduling enough time to prepare like a really strong topic. I had another topic prepared, but I don't want to rush this really important topic. So someone asked earlier, how do we stop being so self-conscious? I'm going to hold off on that conversation for a future video, which I'll schedule and let you know. Let's see. One thing that I get to do that I'm literally going to schedule right now is plan YouTube topics in advance. Okay, so I just made a note for myself to schedule these topics in advance. So if you're just hopping on or you don't know this, literally whenever I plan a topic, I usually just plan 5 minutes before I do live, and it works for me because I like thinking about what's fresh on my mind, what's a new thing. Um, and I've been doing these videos for a long time now, like for almost 4 years now. So it's a little bit of a balance. I think focusing on a topic that's the most relevant to me in this moment is definitely important, but also being prepared and having a very specific topic to talk about is also important too. So for me, it's just find that right balance, and yeah, still trying to figure that out. So what I want to say right now, for me, today's topic again is about how do we stay productive, and I've mentioned this already multiple times. So if you're watching, if you watch this every single day, or you're on the Own Your Life Challenge group, you might have heard me talk about this already. So I've been using this app called Todoist, which is to-do list without the L. So Todoist, and honestly, I feel like it's working wonders for me. So the two productivity apps that I use, number one is Todoist, and number two is how do I say this? Is the Pomodoro method or the Pomodoro timer. Like if you just Google search uh, Pomodoro timer, or Pomodoro method, you'll see it. So just a really quick recap. I don't want to talk too much about this because I've mentioned this several times already. The pretty much the idea is you work 25 minutes straight on one thing, and you just focus one thing at a time. Don't get distracted. If you get distracted, just whatever. If you like, ooh, I need to work on that, put it down on your to-doist at the very bottom, add it to your list, and then don't work on it. Just focus on what you're working on. When you're in work mode, don't answer phone calls. Hold on. Let me rephrase this. Don't respond to text messages. Don't respond to emails or phone calls unless it's urgent. So, some of us have lives where if someone calls, we get to pick it up. But just be mindful of it. So I don't know, maybe someone's just randomly calling you, like, hey, how's it going? Just call them back after you're done with your 25-minute period or whatever. So I guess for today's topic, I'm going to deviate a little bit off of just how to be productive. I guess I'll dive a little bit deeper into my day to day. And by the way, if you're on right now, feel free to ask any questions during this live stream, where it's always an open forum. It does not have to state a topic. Of course, the topic is here for a conversation starter, and we're here to answer whatever questions that we want to. So today was I would say a pretty cool day for me. Let's see. I woke up at 6, and it was very productive. It was just very, like, most of today was just really staying focused with the goals. Man, I feel like there's so much I've learned recently, and there's so much to be learned with where I'm at. Like, I know it's weird just thinking, like, anyone who's watching this, like, someone watching this is far more efficient and productive than me. I'm still learning this process, and sometimes some of us, we learn how to be productive and organized at a very early age, while other of us, we don't really figure out how do we stay productive until like later on in our lives. Or some people don't figure out how to be productive and stop procrastinating and everything like that. Yes, so I'm trying to figure out what I would love to do is I would love to create a system, a very easy to use system that's like, here are the steps to staying productive. Again, I don't want to be too repetitive here, but I want to say the simple thing is focus on one thing at a time. Focus on your biggest tasks first, and set. I like using the Pomodoro method or setting a timer for 25 minutes each time because what that does to me, whatever psychologically, is it makes me realize I got 25 minutes and I get to focus on one thing only, and it gives me permission to, I think if we focus on one thing, it could be very stressful. If we focus on one thing, it could be stressful to the point where it's like, man, this task feels like I got to study for 2 hours, and when do I get a break? So I think what I like about the 25-minute method, the Pomodoro method, is after 25 minutes, regardless if you're studying or whatever you're doing, it allows you're giving yourself permission to take a 5-minute break. And sometimes when we're super high stressed, we got a lot of work to do, we don't give ourselves permission to take breaks. And I think what that does is it's going to escalate the anxiety that we feel. It's going to make us feel very pressured. And when we feel pressured and anxious, in my opinion, that is not a healthy state to focus in. Like, it's, at least this is my experience this past week, which is I realize, regardless of how much I'm looking at my to-do list, I got, I don't know how many items I already checked off today, but 3, 9, I have 13 items left on my to-do list for today. And the list is like, it's constantly growing. So sometimes it gets kind of crazy. It's like, what do I do here? Hold on one second. I just want to make sure that, whoa, what happened here? Okay. So, yes. I believe, so let's talk about going, how to stay productive. I think, I'm going to repeat this again. One task at a time. 2, try the Pomodoro method, which is 25-minute timers at a time. Number 3, I would say, I think for me personally, a huge part of staying productive is making sure we're balancing our mind/emotions. Again, anxiety, stress, I personally do not feel are good contributors with staying productive. I think there is a way to, have anxiety, feel stress, and whatever, work under pressure. I definitely think that is a way a lot of us do it. But I feel like there's a way to calmly go about it, not stress so much, and still get all the work done that you need to. And um, I'm still working on productivity. I'm not the productivity master, but so far so good. So far it's like I still do feel anxiety because there's so much work to get done, but I think when I'm calm, when I'm not anxious, I'm able to focus on what is my highest priority in this moment right now. And when I'm able to focus on that, literally it's like, again, I have 13 items here. There's certain things where I'm like, ooh, I need to do this today. I need to do this. I need to take out the trash. I need to do this. And when I look at this list, I wish I could show you right now. So on my list right here, on Todoist.com, which I'm recommending, it's free. You can set your priorities. Like, you can set your priority level. So is it, rank 1 priority, rank 2, rank 3? So right now, visually, I see that I have, out of the 13, I have 3 main priorities that I get to accomplish today. And what that tells me is, as long as I finish those top 3 things, the other 10 items I have on my to-do list, honestly, like, I want to get them done. But if I don't get them done, it's not the end of the world. As long as I finish these top 3 items that are my highest priority items. So to me, that puts a lot less pressure. Again, talking with staying productive and being organized, for me, this works. I've been practicing. I've been trying to figure out productivity for the longest time and still working through it. I know there's a lot of books out there. I'm sure if I read them, I'd learn a lot too. I do recommend, if you want to learn how to be more productive, read some books about it. It'll teach you some strategies and tips for sure. I get to reread or look over Eat That Frog again to get back into that productivity mindset. So one thing I'll say is, before I say it, Lyrical Mischief says, it's ironic that I'm watching this to procrastinate being productive. Yeah, that's funny. There's another popular video I have. It's how to quit playing video games. Um, and then people comment, like one of the top comments is it weird that I'm watching this video about how to quit playing video games while playing video games? So I don't know. Sometimes I find that's funny. All right, here. So dang it! I thought I lost my train of thought. I got distracted. I allowed myself to be distracted for a second, and I lost my main point here for a second. It will come back to me, hopefully. Let's see. To do list, hanging out. Let's see. Oh, so one thing that I find really effective with to-do lists, and let's say I think a lot of us, most of us, have a ton of things going on in our lives right now in this moment. We have way too many things going on, and at least for me, historically, when I have a lot of things going on, my mind gets all like chaotic, crazy. You know, it's like I don't know how to organize all this information. I don't know how to hold like 10 different to-do items in my mind. I'm like, wait, hold on. I got to work on this. I got to work on this. So I think the simple strategy is anytime some little idea pops up in your mind as you're working, I quickly jot it down. I quickly jot it down for me to deal with it later. This 25-minute Pomodoro timer time slot is going to be focused on accomplishing my one task. But if that thought comes to my mind, write it down quickly, get straight back to work. Let's see. Chris Gonzalez says laser-like focus. Yes, I think that is a magical thing for sure. Laser-like focus. It's staying focused on one task, getting it done. Focus. And another thing, let's talk about how to stay productive. I've been talking about this a lot in the recent stream, which is getting enough sleep at night, which is you got to listen to your body. You got to figure out what is the optimal amount of sleep. Of course, there is a typical guideline of like, okay, so we got to sleep for whatever is it. They say like adults should sleep 7 to 8 hours. Or I'm just kind of making that up. I know that's like a rough estimate. My sleep goals is 6.5 hours. Let's see, 6 is pushing it. I think today was a lower number of hours. I think I got 5 hours and 45 minutes today. But yeah, it worked out. Again, I don't know how to say it. A lot of it is just practice. So the biggest productivity tip is if you are struggling with productivity, if you're struggling with caring about productivity, if you're procrastinating a lot, if you're in that space, all I want to tell you is just know that it's a practice. Just know that the more you practice, the better you'll get at it. And I guess you can say be patient with yourself. That doesn't mean, how do I say this? Be completely complacent and don't do anything about it. And let's figure it out along the way. It means like just know that just be patient with yourself while still trying to push yourself. Julian Thomas, good to see you on, brother. Julian says Pomodoro has been a game changer. That's awesome. So it's really weird that I'm talking about Pomodoro right now. So again, Pomodoro it's called Pomodoro method. It's a productivity tool, which is again scheduling things in chunks of 25 minutes. Jeff Yeldon, good to see you on, brother. Good to see you on. So let's see. So I used to try doing Pomodoro method about 3 years ago, and I kind of hated it. Like I'm like, this is worthless. It doesn't work for me. I'm just not going to use it. And so I stopped using it. I was like, it's not working. But I don't know. Sometimes what I'll say is sometimes things don't work for us in this moment, but when we come back to them a little bit later, they'll work. Oh goodness. Hey, Jillian Thomas, are you still on? If you're still on, Jillian, a few days ago, I was actually talking about you. I was talking about intermittent fasting and how, when I was doing intermittent fasting about, what was that? A year and a half ago, 2 years, when I was in Jillian Thomas's coaching program, he was talking about intermittent fasting and I tried it and I'm like, this isn't working for me. It's like, I get really, really hungry in the morning. And, I remember Jillian was telling me techniques to keep our bodies full in the morning when we're hungry. He's like sparkling water or like soda water or straight black coffee. Like those are like the two things that you could drink when you're not in your fasting period. And for me, I'm like, I feel miserable. Like I need all the freaking sparkling water that I can get, so my body could feel full, so I don't have to feel hungry. And now, I don't know why. Now, I don't drink coffee. I don't drink sparkling water during my fasting period. I just drink water. That's it. And like my mind is, how do I say this? I'm already sleeping during the nighttime, So like from eight till I sleep at 11. It's like, okay, I already finished eating dinner, so I'm pretty fine. I might get a little bit hungry, but like, I'm going to sleep soon. And then I go to sleep for another about 6 hours. And then I wake up and then I just have to deal with that morning time. And honestly, it's like my mind is so focused on work that like I'm not even worried about being hungry for the most part. Although when it hits about 9 a.m., in my mind, I know 12 p.m. noon is when I could start eating again. And for me, it's like I look forward to it. It's like 3 hours. I'm like, all right, I gotta wait 3 hours. But it's not like this feeling of like, oh man, I'm starving. I need to eat. It's more like, man, I'm hungry. I'm so looking forward to eating. But right now in this moment, for the next 3 hours, I'm just gonna focus on my work, stay productive. And as long as I'm focused on my goals, as long as I'm focused on getting things done, it's like my mind doesn't even think about food that much. It doesn't bother me that much. So yeah, that's what I got. Kevin Vo says, one of my strengths is focus, but I realize when I focus too much, that I don't enjoy the moment. It's like the one quote where they say, in pursuit of a perfect society, what is lost along the way? Let's see. In pursuit of a perfect society, what is lost along the way? That's I kind of get it. That seems very poetic-ish. In pursuit of a perfect society, what is lost along the way? Are we done? Are you done writing that? Is that exactly what it is? That's very deep. It's so what I'm hearing from this quote is when we are so focused on creating a perfect society, there are things lost along the way. That's what I'm getting out of it. And the thing that's lost being what's lost along the way to me is the presence. It's the joy in the moment. Interesting. So Kevin Vo says his strength is focus, and it's interesting to hear that because for me, I'm the exact opposite. I don't feel like focus is my main strength. Like I'm very up until now. I don't want to make this a limiting belief, but up until now, focus. Like I've always had this idea that I'm very ADD. Like my mind's all over the place. It's all like focused on so many different things, and I have to figure out a way to calm my mind and bring it to one thing. So I think that's a great conversation right now. So Kevin is saying that his thing is focus, and the problem with being way too focused is that sometimes you miss out on the joys and the whatever. I think like I don't know, maybe it's the flexibility and the freedoms of life. And for me, my mind is so all over the place that I can't focus. And my problem with that is that I can't get things done quickly and efficiently. I'm always everywhere. I would say the strength of maybe my mind being everywhere is that I'm constantly thinking of ways to improve all the different aspects of the bigger puzzle. I don't know if that's a fair assessment. So I'm just kind of what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to see what's the positives. What are the pros and cons of everything, right? Like sometimes we look at a certain quote unquote problem that we have, but we don't see the benefit of this quote unquote problem that we have. Again, my quote unquote problem is I can't stay focused. And the benefit of not being able to stay focused is that I get to think about other things that I get to do, and I wouldn't, if I wasn't focused, I wouldn't be able to think about other things. I don't know. Like it kind of makes sense to me. So I hope it makes sense to you. What else would I say about this? Yeah, my mind is very. I'm looking. By the way, if you see me look this way, it's because I have my to-do list right here. And when I look at my to-do list, literally these 13 items that I wrote on my to-do list all came about because of the random thought pattern that I have. It's that random. Ooh, I gotta do this. Ooh, I gotta do this. And then as soon as I have that thought, like, ooh, I gotta do this, I just put it down. So I'm still learning to stay productive, to be in that flow. And what I'll say is one thing I got to work on more is pausing, not letting the anxiety, not letting that negative energy, that stressful energy, uh, take control of me, take a step away from it, and then take some time to really focus. I don't know, like a few times a day, really focus on it. Richard, what is the main task that's going to benefit you the most? So, for example, I had three really, really, really insightful conversations with three incredible people in the youth speaking world. Thank you, Richard Nalba, if you're on listening to this. Thank you, D. Hankins and Houston Kraft. So if any of you are on, thank you for the conversations. I've had hours upon hours of conversations in the past 2 days talking about, how do I get myself out there as a a youth inspirational speaker? How do I speak to more schools? How do I speak at more leadership conferences? How do I brand myself? And after all these conversations, I was just like, oh my God, like I'm so overwhelmed. Or I can be overwhelmed. It's an overwhelming amount of information. But then I realized for myself, I have my to-do list that I could keep doing. And sometimes I need to stop and think, what is my main priority right now? I know that the three people that I just talked to in the past 2 days gave me so much great information, but my mind is everywhere. So, number one, I just added a new line on my number one on my next priority list is review, Richard Albert, Houston Kraft, D's conversations and input action steps. Meaning, the three conversations that gave me so many great ideas, to review all the notes that I typed up. I typed up like, I don't know, 6 pages of notes or something. Take that information, condense it into actionable items, and then input those action items into my to-do list. I don't know if that makes sense, or I feel like I'm talking a little bit too much here. So, yeah, let's dive into this. Staying productive. I think staying productive is a huge part of staying productive, I believe, is self-awareness. It's knowing what's going to work for us. And again, wherever you are in your productivity journey, if you want to be more productive with your life, I think a lot of it is just self-awareness. It's just understanding what's going to work for you. Are you falling asleep while during your day? Are you not being able to stay focused? What is it? And it's figuring out a solution that works for you. So, all right, I'm going to take one breath here and continue. So the thought I have right now is, I think a lot of people, a lot of students who are watching this right now might struggle with staying focused in school. And is, how do you stay focused in school? That's not an easy question to answer. So if you're a student in school and you're having a hard time focusing, staying productive, I think, again, this goes down to self-awareness. It's nation. Like sometimes we get overly anxious. Yeah. Sometimes we get overly anxious. Anxiety paralyzes us into this like mental, like, I don't know how to study. I'm stressed out. I got exams coming up. Like I feel like I'm not going to do very well in it. And again, it's really important if you want to focus and be productive. There's two ways to do it. Number one, it works short term. I think long term, that's actually going to work on a deeper level and get you further results in your life. Down the anxiety, the stress, taking a step back. How do I say this? Just, it's like letting go of anxiety is not an easy thing to do. When we feel anxious, right? No, is that we are able to control our anxiety. You can control that. And again, very, very debilitating. It's very, it paralyzes us. It puts us in a space where it's hard for us to focus and be productive. Is whenever you have that trigger, you feel anxious, your heart gets tight or tense, that, you got a lot of pressure. That moment, if you want to be productive, if you want to stay on top of things, if you want to stay focused, it's in that moment when you're feeling anxious to take a quick moment, pause, take a breath, self. Like, just know to do one thing at a time. If you got 5 exams to focus on, you got final exams coming up, whatever it is, and time, one chapter at a time, one paragraph at a time, just one little simple section at a time. I believe when we break things down, and stop worrying about the other stuff, other tasks that we have to do creep into our minds, focus on that one. That's when we will become more efficient and be more focused in learning the material and actually learn the material better. Yeah. Now I'm thinking out loud here, but I'm thinking about the counter questions, like, wait, hold on, but if we forget about everything else and we just focus on one thing, what if we forget about studying for the other thing, and then we forget to study it, and then we fail because I don't study it? This is one of those balances. Like, you put it on a list during your break time. So that's how I schedule my Pomodoro. I don't know if this is the official method, but like how I schedule it is of pure work, 25 minutes straight, just work, work, work. And then I go into maximum 5 minutes of planning for my next 25 minutes. Pomodoro timer. What am I going to accomplish in the next 25 minutes? I either do the schedule or create an outline of what I want to accomplish in the next 25 minutes, or a 5-minute break, or 5-minute break before whatever. Myself, if I'm tired, I give myself a 10-minute break. 5 minutes is for break time. Any kind of work, just let yourself wander around, recharge yourself. Is brainstorming how you're gonna just get clear on what you want to accomplish in the next 25 minutes. Okay, so that's what I have. I always feel like I lost focus and stuck without moving forward. Where should I start again? I'm a flight attendant. Kim, I probably need a little bit more clarity on here. Like, you're lost, you lost focus and you're stuck without moving forward. Should I start again? What's your goal? You say you're a flight attendant, so when you're stuck without moving forward, are you saying with your career, like you want to advance in your career? Are you saying that you want to flight attendant, or are you saying you feel you lose focus and stuck without moving forward in your actual job as a flight attendant? Okay, so please clarify which one you're talking about, because very, very different answers in a way. Or that will support me. And crossing my fingers, I'm hoping for a response from you so I could answer it on a deeper level. If you somehow don't answer or whatever, I will still continue to try to answer that question. I'd rather get more context. Where do you feel focused and stuck in your career? Okay. So Kim, to advance your career, like, are you trying to, from maybe a flight attendant to, I don't know what the promotion of a flight attendant is. Well, here, Kim, tell me this. What is your goal? Where do you want to go? You lost focus and you feel stuck without moving forward. Where you're at right now, what's kind of your goal of what's next for you after flight attendant? What's next? I'm gonna go with that. And as you're kind of typing in your answer, I will continue talking about stuff. Alrighty. Productivity, focus. Focus is a conversation of today. That's mm, back to very early wrap up, as in like instead of waiting till the very end of this conversation to wrap up all this of everything we're talking about, I'm going to do it midway, like right now. So in order to create focus, the keys the keys to focus and productivity, off the top of my head, number one is figure out how many hours you need and sleep. Respect it. I think a lot of us, myself especially in the past, oftentimes disrespect the amount of sleep that we need, and it can be we get really tired and sleepy throughout the day, and we can't stay focused. So that's number one. Number two is create a to-do list. I recommend Todoist.com. Great app. It's free. Put together a to-do list. Oh, Scott Huynh, I see you. Hey Scott, if you're listening right now, try out Todoist. If you want to to-do list very well. Todoist works even better than Google Keep, which is what I recommended you earlier. I use Todoist, and it's working wonders for me. Like I could break down into categories. I could break it down into my YouTube to-do list, my personal, my home, or categories that I have listed right here. And I could choose which days I need to accomplish tasks. So let's see. Scott says, "What's up, Richard? That's what I need to work on. Sleeping is more important." Yeah, it's Scott. I'm gonna tell you this because you know very directly Tom Bilyeu, Impact Theory. For those people who don't know Tom Bilyeu or Impact Theory, it's a podcast. He's the founder of Quest Nutrition, which is a billion-dollar company. I thought this guy is so hardcore, super crazy that he probably doesn't sleep very much. I'm going to repeat exactly what I said yesterday, which is Tom Bilyeu he prioritizes his sleep every single night. Running a billion-dollar company, this guy who's running a really successful YouTube/podcast with hundreds and thousands of subscribers, whatever, followers, all that kind of stuff. Huge priority. And he sleeps at least 6 hours a day. Like that is, we all have 24 hours in a day. Tom, super successful guy, sleeps for 6. To me, if a successful person is doing that, who's crushing in the world, who's super, super busy, that tells me there's a reason why sleeping really, really important. So there is like some correlation between sleep and staying really, really focused and on top of our game, so we can give 100% to what we're doing. Yes. So again, please use test it out. Todoist. It's an iPhone app and it's a website, so you can do it on both. I think it works wonderfully. You can prioritize by importance. You can schedule out in advance. Like it's super great. I love it. Video says, "Hi there. Never seen a live stream. Do you do yours before?" Let's see. A live stream? Huh. I've seen your name before. I'm pretty sure you have. All right. The legend lead. You need to sleep. Sleep 8. You need to sleep 8. But yeah, this is very true. Sleep is important. Yeah, I'm not an expert on sleep. A lot of people will say things. A lot of people say, 7 to 8 hours is the scientific number that's healthy and makes you most productive. That might be true. Sometimes we don't like going outside our comfort zone. Like for me, 8 hours is fit in 8 hours into my day. For me is challenging enough. 8 is almost like pushing it. It's like I want to wake up early, and I don't want to sleep too early, and I don't want to sleep too late either. Like for me, like I'm doing this live stream right now from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So right after the stream, I guess there is a way to cut down Man, that's so challenging. Maybe that'll be a good experiment. Maybe I'm going to challenge myself to go to sleep. Right now I go to sleep at I say 11, but it ends up being 11:30. Okay, I slept at 1 a.m. Yeah, but here I'm open to considering maybe for 8 hours instead of just 6. But so far, 6 is working pretty well for me. The legend. Hey, the legend. Not sure what you mean by link it. Can you please be more specific with what you want me to link, and I'll see how I can support. To do. Hold on. Alrighty, here. Todoist.com. So I'm linking. 1 second. I'm linking the this app. Okay. Who's interested? It's Todoist.com. And the other thing that I mentioned is called Pomodoro method. Right, and Pomodoro method. You can just Google Pomodoro method. There we go. Colm says I sleep like 9+ hours nightly. That's impressive. You're one example, but I'd love to hear from you. How do you feel after 9 hours of sleep? Do you do it very, very intentionally, so you're super, super focused, as you have that time to sleep for 9+ hours, and it just feels great? Both, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because you sleep 9+ hours, and I don't know, maybe not much sleep. You're like, when you wake up, you're so focused, and you're just like, oh my goodness, like twice as productive as I normally am if I sleep 6 hours or something like that. So I'd love to hear that, because I don't have the experience of plus hours like that, which is cool. Colm says, it's the only way I feel good and think clear moment, so I have more time. Okay. Sounds good. I don't know. I always people's input and thoughts. Yeah, like I don't think hours. I'm just imagining this. If I went to sleep at 10 o'clock and I woke up at 7, it's doable. It's doable. It's just like 9's a lot. 9's a lot. All right. Lyrical Mischief says, I found that once I get the momentum going, I can usually stay productive and do my work. It's almost impossible. Any tips? That's a really great question or little thought that you have there. When we get into momentum, how do we get started? How do we get started? There's I got a few thoughts going on right now. If sometimes we get into a space where we get really passionate or focused about something, that's not always the case. And I know most of the time that's not the case. But when we are focused and when we're passionate about something, that obviously will get us up in the morning and get us going. I love the work that I do, but there are times where I want to get up in a way. So how do we get going? Me, what's working, I want to speak from my present day self, and then let's see if I can give my previous procrastinating, resistant self talk from that perspective too. So my present day self, a little bit of time to warm up in the morning, like to get going. So my morning rituals: I wake up, I brush my teeth, and then I meditate for 5 minutes. I do affirmations for another, let's say, 5 minutes. Visualizing kind of like my future, my like what I want to accomplish, and seeing myself accomplishing it, or just visualizing me booking 50 paid speaking gigs in the next 5 months, just like visualizing different things. And then right after that, I jump into my to-do list. Helps me. How do I say this? For now, I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, but for now, instead of jumping straight into my to-do list, sometimes I have like these little things like, ooh, I check my emails, Facebook real quick, notifications, see if anyone left messages or whatever. And for me, it's a nice little warm up to my day. It makes me feel good. It gives me that little bit of, what's the right word? Dopamine rush or something like that. That those happy feelings of like, ooh. And then right after that, I look at my to-do list, what I need to do, highest priority. And like at this point, rested, I feel more relaxed. Maybe about an hour since I woke up, more awake. So if it's impossible to get started, this is tough. But for me, I have my Pomodoro timer, which is a little website. I hit go. The timer starts. I look at my first task. I'm like, okay, I'm going to focus on that one task. But that's when I'm feeling motivated enough. Like, well, how about if we're not feeling motivated enough? And by the way, one thing I do recognize is that and why I talk a lot is because I'm actually breaking down and trying to understand the question at the same time as you are, so yeah. Hey, good night, Scott. Take care. Have a good night. So lyrical mischief. I think this applies to most people who are probably on, I think most of us have a hard time finding that productivity or like getting started with something. The first thought that comes to my mind is if you're struggling with getting started with something, absolutely is getting started hard, challenging getting started with something. So acknowledge, know that it's not easy to get started. However, that doesn't mean that should be an excuse for you to not get started or so that it's so hard. I believe the best way to get started is to choose to get started, to just do it. Just do it. It's painful. It's annoying. It's like, oh, I don't want to do it though, Once you start pushing yourself to just do it, to task first, the hardest thing to do first, once you just do that, habit of just doing it. And it's very liberating. It really is. Like, I'm telling you, I'm being very, very honest here. Weeks ago, / a few months ago, this year, or we'll say 2017, prior in 2017 and all the years prior, I've struggled so much with productivity. I've struggled so much actually staying on top of things and actually doing things. One of the first times where I actually sense, like in my soul or whatever, in my bones, actually have a system that is going to keep me accountable for actually being productive and doing work. To-do list, stay focused on the goal, and just so practice. Number one, if you don't feel discouraged, if you feel discouraged about being productive and not being able to start something, it seems so impossible, give yourself self-acceptance. Accept yourself. Screw up. It's okay to not be productive, and one step at a time. Just get better. We will all get there. We will all get to a place where we become productive. It took me 28 years of my life. So don't worry about it. And if you're older than 28, that's okay. Everyone learns at your own pace. You're not competing against anyone else. The only person you're competing against is yourself. So pair with your old self and just better yourself one little step at a time. Leon, good to see you on. Thanks for the reactions. Christine, good to see you on. Let's see here. So the legend Leet 55 says, what is your professional job? My professional job is that I am a professional youth inspirational speaker. So I speak to middle school, high school students. Often called a quote unquote a motivational speaker. I don't that term. I don't know. It's a weird term for me. So I do, but it's on stage in a live audience in a way. Conversational. not this conversational when I'm on stage. I have to have a little bit more structure than that. With that being said, yes, that's I think we covered a good amount today. We talked about, and I think we covered that. In the Bay Area, I live in Southern California right now, but I will be in the Bay Area February. So yeah, my plan is to book some speaking gigs up there and speak to some schools. So if anyone knows any, if you know anyone, any schools, if you're a school, if you're a student who might be interested in having some cool speaker come to your school to speak, you could message me. Yeah, so looking forward to that. Alrighty. I think we're at a pretty good place right now. I think we covered a lot. Staying productive. I'm going to summarize it in like words or less in 3 steps. Okay. Step number 1, get enough rest. Time. Number 3, Pomodoro method. Christine inspired me in weeks. So 1, night. 2, one thing at a time, aka todoist.com. Like those things have been my biggest hack this week. Lee says, find me some gigs. I'll work on that. Yeah, I'm more than been more than happy to speak anywhere that anyone is willing to hire me to speak at. So alrighty, here. Let's see. Lyrical Mischief says, all right, you've inspired me to get some stuff done. Thanks for the advice. Have a good night. You're welcome. And I would say the most important thing for anyone who's watching this right now, remember videos. It's great to be on a live asking questions. It's great to ask questions. This matters unless we take action. So no anything to say, but it's so true. Like the only way we're going to improve ourselves is through action. So if you want to learn, if you want to genuinely learn on a cellular level, you got to, like, literally it's a choice. Doing it is a choice. Push yourself. You got to break. We get to break. We got to break our habits of just and like, ooh, that was really cool. Now I know what to do. Now what? That's it. It's hard. You know, it's easy for me to say right now because I'm the one telling you to do it. And even for me, breaking those barriers are really challenging. And I don't step up to the challenge. And sometimes I back down. I'm like, oh man, like that's next time. Especially if you got people keeping you accountable. And sometimes keeping you accountable, it's them just standing there and you're like, I'm going to tell you this so I can keep myself accountable. Sometimes that works too. It's like, yeah, I get it. I know I should do this. I'm going to do it. You know, I'm just going to shut up and do it. Not complain, not think about it, just do it. Yeah. Colm says, tip for you, invest in a good microphone headset that cuts out a bit. So the reason why it's probably, I do have a good microphone. It's a Audio-Technica ATR 2100. Ooh. Podcasting microphone. It works really well. If it's cutting in and out, it's probably because I forgot to switch my data on my phone. I'm using too much data on my internet right now. That's probably why it's not working well. But yeah, thanks for that. I do have a headset. I'm kind of lazy. I don't like wearing earbuds. It's a lot going on, so that's what I have. Okay, cool. Good night, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you. I will not see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is the one day that I'm not live streaming, and that is because I do some mentoring with some middle school students. So I'll be streaming tomorrow, but I'll be streaming the day after and pretty much all the other days. You know, we're on live every single day, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, take care. Good night, everyone. Bye.